Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for the afternoon of August 25th, 2016. If we take a look here at 99L, you can see as plainly as I can, there's the low-level swirl, and that's really all there is to it. No appreciable shower and thunderstorm activity associated with it, just a couple of loose bands over here. We call that convection, and this is certainly lacking deep convection and no banded features going around it of thunderstorms or convection at all. And the reason is, and we can see that very clearly here, upper level winds, the system is located about right in here, the low level swirl, and look at that. I talk about this a lot. Shear going across the top of the system as it moves to the west-northwest against it. And it's like a pair of scissors. There you go. It's being sheared off. And not only that, but any dry air that's sitting in here is getting injected into the system, and that's helping to deflate any convection that tries to blow up. And if it manages to create some convection, as we saw earlier today, it just dissipates rather quickly. Nevertheless, looking at the various models while the system is still alive, and I say that because it's possible that it runs into Cuba, and the tropical wave energy eventually dissipates, and we have absolutely nothing to talk about anymore as it relates to this system. That is entirely possible. But for now, the ensemble groups of the different GFS members, a lot of them into the eastern Gulf of Mexico now, so we'll certainly keep an eye on this. If it doesn't just go away, and I say often that they don't just go away, well, sometimes they do. And what I mean by that is when they're traveling across the Atlantic, they typically don't just dissipate out here. They have to run into land and basically the energy be absorbed. And they really have to take a beating for a long time. Normally they don't just dissipate out over the open Atlantic, these tropical waves. It takes until they get to the western part for them to just kind of string themselves out. They've had too much and there's nothing left of them. The intensity guidance, a little bit interesting this afternoon. Sort of a slope upward in the overall trend here. A couple of these outliers, don't worry about those for now. But maybe a strong tropical storm in the making if this low-level vorticity center, and I'm telling you what, that's all that we have left here. Basically, this is just, that's it. If this thing right here runs into Cuba and dissipates, that's probably going to be all we say about it. I've already said that once, and that's the second time, but I'm just reiterating it. So if it survives, there's a chance that it could try to make strong tropical storm, maybe minimal hurricane intensity, somewhere between the 4 and 5 day time frame, but I have my doubts. Looking at the guidance from the various models this afternoon, this was the GFS ensembles from this morning. See right there, 12 UTC, that would be the 8 o'clock Eastern time package. And so this is the afternoon, 18 UTC, or 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have a pretty big spread in the overall guidance envelope because it's even more disheveled than before. But overall, sort of the mean is right through here, perhaps, maybe a little bit more south. So if it makes it into the Gulf, it'll be worth watching. Looking at the European model output from 12Z. By the way, this comes from tropicaltidbits.com. Very talented young man there, Levi Cowan. A lot of you might have heard of him, student at FSU, and he provides these graphics. He actually coded all of this stuff himself. Pretty smart guy, so it's nice to be able to show these. The vorticity signature in here at the initial time may be a little generous compared to what it is in reality. If we move out through 24 hours, this is valid Friday morning, tomorrow morning the 26th. There it is north of Cuba. And again, if this runs into Cuba, probably lights out. We'll see. And 48 hours, a little bit of a jump up towards Andros Island here, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll just have to watch. I'm just showing you how this basically has come around to mirroring what the GFS, the Global Forecast System, has been showing. And it comes into South Florida, very loose overall vorticity or energy or spin. However you want to say it, it's just not, well, let's put it that way. All right, there's Gaston, and that's what a hurricane or a strong tropical storm looks like. This does not look like that. No way, no how. So there you go. Just comparing that gives you the idea. Finally here at 96 hours some semblance of organization off the coast of Naples and Fort Myers. And then at day 5 here, valid next Tuesday morning, moving up into the Big Bend area of Florida with a possible landfall in that region. And it's interesting, that's the day 5 position of the Euro from this morning's run. And here's the day 5 position of the Hurricane Weather Research Forecast Model, or HWRF, at the same time. Pretty interesting, I guess, maybe. One sort of check mark off of the column that says I'll watch this a little longer, as opposed to I'm not watching it anymore. We'll have to wait and see, right? So 981 millibars in there, headed towards the Big Bend of Florida. Kind of hard to get these up here, but if it were, that would be a rather nasty impact. And let me just say, if this does come to fruition and we get a landfall like that, this is nothing to just say, oh, that's no big deal. This would be a big enough deal for people up there, and we can worry about this later. But, basically don't completely ignore this, and most people who are into the weather won't. They'll check back and see what's going on. There's a natural curiosity, especially when there's the potential for something to come along and wreck your everyday existence, right? But it looks a lot better for South Florida right now for sure. And we'll just see how things progress and take it from there. That's about all we can do. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and, of course, for Hurricane Pro in HD. You have a good rest of your afternoon here this Thursday, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.